Hey everybody, Speed Bump SMS Shinobi race is happening. We weren't sure, but yeah, we got 3 players. All right. I don't believe anyone was messing with the world record, right? Like that is a pretty solid one, I think.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to take a little more time. I would be surprised if by the end of the month we don't have a new world record, but I don't think our racers are quite there yet. Everyone's been trying to make heads or tails of this game. It's especially brutal. I mean, we watched you last week take on that final boss, and I mean, you're a certified gamer. So I think everyone is kind of having the same experience where it's under the best circumstances, they know what to do about the final boss, but not everyone's kind of worked out how to do it consistently. So this race is going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes.
I feel like the game isn't too bad until you get to 5-2 and 5-4 boss time. Final boss is absolutely gross, but I saw some boss strategy happen. There's some way to lock him up. I don't know what it is, but there's some way to do it. So let's head to there we go. We got Eric's Moonberry 2 and Patty B's.
I think what we're going to end up finding in the end is that the winner of our race at the end of the month is going to be the person who figures out how to fight the final boss properly without a weapon. Because we're allowing this week for them to use continue codes, and I think that unless there's a good reason why we shouldn't, unless, for instance, there's some strategy that allows you to beat the game faster by intentionally game overing and using a continue code, I think that we'll probably allow that for the final race as well.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
But,
and
if you do that, you're not going to have a weapon necessarily. So
yeah, that's true.
I think the winner of the race is going to be the person who figures out how to do this whole game without relying on weapons and things as a crutch.
Do you know that they all have the code? Did you give it to them?
I should ask them really quickly. I assume they're all aware of it, but I will check right now. Do you know offhand what I should tell them?
Yeah, I got it right here. Let me find it. It is down twice, left, right, up twice, and then button 1.
Down, left, right, up. Down twice, left, right, up, and then button 1.
Down, down, left, right, up, up. It's incredibly the simplest cheat code of all time, but that's okay.
And then you hit what button afterwards?
1 or
button
2.
1? Okay.
And you should be at a level select that it will take away your weapons, so... That boss, that Moonberry is messing with, well, on the demo anyway. I think that's boss 3. That actually was a pretty annoying boss too. But I think it was just a timing thing. I figured it out eventually. It's just a matter of timing. Rather than trying to do anything fancy, I just played it like a rhythm game and won. The ninja rhythm game. Well, I'm all set. If they're ready to go, I've got it.
All right.
Go ahead and pull audio from Eric's for the time being. We're gonna cap them at 45 minutes here. If they don't win in that time, we're gonna call it. Good luck, everybody.
I'm getting them all to confirm that they are ready, and then we will get started. Alright, I have given them all the countdown. They should be about to start any moment now.
Go after Keno. Clock's on. 1 week until our big race of this game. If you're interested in playing, folks, we'll be playing for $50. Come get your wallet. Come be good at Shinobi SMS. This is the Game Gear version. Like I said,
Second Master System version.
Doesn't that end up being the same thing pretty often?
Probably, but I don't think we'd let someone walk in here and play the Game Gear version.
Yeah,
in the race.
So the things to watch out here for a new player are, and I don't know if any of these players are or not. I know Moonberry's been practicing the final boss, so they're not. But
I think Eric's has been looking at a little bit. The only one who I think is coming in more or less blind is Patty B's. Patty B's said that they did basically one run with rewinds to understand the game, and that's about it. So,
so the hostages, knowing which ones heal you and which ones cause an awful bonus round is going to be big for your time. Because you don't really want the bonus round. Your prize for that is a screen wipe that's just not very good. It's like Contra Bomb, but it takes a long time and you only get one. Wouldn't recommend that if you can avoid it. It's not harmful to go into the bonus round though, it's just time sink.
Yeah, you're probably looking at least 15 seconds of time loss if you do the bonus round.
Yeah. So Patty's in the bonus round right now. That's the one we're talking about. If they pull this off, you can lose this and not get any points, which they did. The green ninjas, very dangerous, isn't it? The other things to watch out for are definitely boss 3, level 5-2. I think level 2-2 is also pretty dangerous, and the final boss is just the most egregious thing I've played in a while.
2-2 is the red stage with all the climbing, right? That one was really rough in some spots.
That one was the hardest one in the whole game up until some really hard jumps in World 5, but then the final stages were just really... There's a really hard jump. I saw there was notes about exactly where to jump on one of the hardest jumps in the game, and I believe that's in World 5. It's a very tight jump. And then the final boss itself is vicious. The speedrun brings in a weapon. Of course, they don't take any deaths at all in a world record run, so they're going to be there with a weapon, their weapon of choice, and that makes the boss a lot easier. It gives you a much wider attack. Probably, I don't know if it changes your damage, but it definitely gives you a better attack. I think it does change your damage. But the big problem with him is punching him with no range. Pretty tough.
A lot of these enemies, in this level in particular that we're seeing on Eric's screen, a lot of these enemies are sort of positioned in such a way that the only way to attack them is at close range because the ninja stars go directly over their heads. Really challenging combat in this game. Probably almost unintentionally hard combat. Well, less about intelligent design and more about enemy spam, I guess, is the key here.
Yeah. They made ninjas and they wanted them to be ninjas, and they didn't think about what that meant. Ninjas are dangerous.
And in real life, I bet I could only take 2 or 3 ninjas max, and this room's got more than that.
That's incredible. In real life, I don't think I could take any ninjas. What do you think about that? Moonberry's in the section that I struggled with, and they're not struggling with it.
Yeah, switching to the grenades definitely seems to be helping a lot with the floor enemies.
Yeah, that right there is what I mean by the weapons. I didn't like the grenades, but in this level in particular, I think I really missed not having them, because the guy on the floor you can't really kill with a regular weapon. You have to walk up and kick him. And Eric's is already here too. They're dealing with a tough jump though. They cleared.
Patty B's is making good progress for someone who presumably has not really spent much time practicing this game.
Yeah. Doing well. Eric's is in the lead at the moment on boss 2, the chopper full of dudes. This is just a bunch of ninjas. You do have to destroy the chopper. It will never stop putting these ninjas out, and they're really obnoxious ninjas too.
You know, I think Moonberry's going to make a lot of this time back. Eric's made it through this level very smoothly. The one that Moonberry's on made it through this level very smoothly by being, like, consistently killing every enemy, not taking any damage. Moonberry has been just, like, easily jumping over most of them. Very clearly has practiced quite a bit. So, really closed the gap a lot right there.
My concern is that I don't think this game heals you between stages, so they're coming in with nothing. And that's going to be a rough one.
Patty B's is doing a great job, despite having taken a few... Wow, that was such a quick kill on that.
That chopper is weak to shurikens, isn't it?
You just gotta know where to attack it. Despite the fact that Patty B's has gotten now 2 mini-games, Patty B's is only like a level behind Moonberry, who is only a level behind Eric's, really keeping up well with such a honestly brutal game.
Moonberry got a big heal off of one of the hostages, and it is only half a level behind now. This is the level. So the other versions of Shinobi, some of them skip World 2. So this is where you would be in that case is World 3. The boss of this one, I saw Moonberry practicing it. I imagine there's a good reason for that. I had trouble with that boss, but it is, like I was saying earlier, it is a rhythm boss of sorts, more than it is a beat-em-up boss. It's a little strange. Yeah, those two are very close to each other now. It's gonna be interesting to watch. Patty's got a weapon for this section ahead, but they're out of health. This is where I was. The grenades might help here. There is a full health hostage up there somewhere, if they know about it. This game believes in killing you as soon as you jump up in this stage. That's part of why it's nasty. Nice dodge. Oh, I thought they were gonna make it. Patty got taken out. I am... so you can't switch between your weapons, I don't think. You get what you pick up, and so I'm under the impression that all the weapons you pick up are straight better. Like, the grenades don't reach as far across the screen, but they must do more damage.
Yeah, it seems like they were doing pretty consistent damage.
The stage that Eric's and Moonberry are on in the other version I played of this made me switch to this version. This is the level that this ninja pile. Every ninja that there ever was is here, and they ain't playing around. This was a really rough level in that version. It's much easier here. It's much cleaner. You have a health bar.
Playing it very safe. Moonberry's doing a better job than Eric's did with crowd control, but Eric's has just been playing so consistently. I think that's really what it's been all about.
I think this boss here might be a deciding factor for a while on who's where, because this boss might mess him up, but I feel like Eric's has the timing that you want. If you touch that electricity, you're over. Honestly, if you touch the boss, you're over too, because you don't have very much time at all. This is a very tightly timed thing.
As long as Eric's doesn't take a death, I mean, it would be nearly impossible for Eric's to lose time on this boss, right? I mean, you only have a certain amount of time to kill all of those, so...
It's on phase 2, which is the easy part. I don't know if Moonberry's okay or not here. It looks like they might be, but it's hard to tell until they really get down to the wire. Oh, alright. That was close.
That felt really close.
It doesn't get much closer than that. I know it looked like they were doing well, but one touch, and that would have been the end of it. So they have to hit the gem of the mask here, which is, it's just up and down patterns. Just jump over a fireball, I guess. What that, or boulder or some kind of thing.
There we go.
That boss that they just did is definitely different in each version. You said the NES one you can shoot faster?
Oh yeah, you can unleash projectiles.
It takes 4 hits per in this one, and you can only put one out on the screen at a time. Maybe it's easier with a different weapon, but I don't think so. I mean, they would probably have that weapon here, if that were true. I think it's just a really tightly timed fight. Patty made it through the harder level, so they're in the break. Honestly, this is a very nice place to be at that after doing that one.
So the weapon that Eric's has right now is the one that I believe they want for the final boss. It has a really good range on it, and the long-range melee weapons seem to do really well against that final boss with all of his phases. So a game over at this point would be really a really big setback.
These rooms with the holes have jumps like that Eric's just fell to. Very hard jumps. Very nasty. That puts Eric's and Moonberry in about the same place.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're pretty much all tied up. Patty B is making great progress. Patty B's made it through the really rough climb level. That level, I'm gonna be honest, is kind of miserable, so the fact that Patty B's is through it means that it's comparatively smooth sailing until World 5, I imagine. As
hard as that level is, they learned it fast enough to beat it this quickly. I mean, There's definitely a way through, and if you come equipped, you can beat it without a hassle. It's definitely one of those games where, it sounds stupid to say, but the better you do, the easier it is. Like, it just kind of gives you the benefit for doing well. You just get better weapons, and you just get more health, and you just have a big health bar. Like Moonberry has like 10 health, down to 6 now because they took a death. They were trying to get to that. That was the hard jump right there that Eric's cleared and Moonberry did not.
Yeah, Eric's inched his way across.
I guess there's only. It reminds me of Link to the Past bomb jumps, where there's only like a pixel where you can do it right from. There's only 2 pixels that you can use on that ledge, according to what I saw on Discord earlier. And Moonberry took a dive trying to get there.
Imagine designing a game that way on purpose, right? Like, bomb jumps have an excuse. They're not intentional.
Yeah. Well, the pits in that game suck you in like a vacuum.
Ivy's made really short work of that helicopter as well.
I guess I was fighting it wrong. All you have to do is stick a knife in the gears.
Yeah, you just have to attack the front of the helicopter. I don't think either of us are really aware of that. You have an excuse. You've never played Shinobi, right? I speedran the NES version. I should have known better.
I had not fought that helicopter before, because that mission was missing. Moonberry cleared the jump. I don't know if developers were concerned sometimes about how hard things were in these kind of games. It's always, I always want to hear what they have to say about a jump like that one that they made there.
Answer for your crimes.
How did that get through? It's so tight. It's asking a whole lot. It is different between versions, and I imagine most of it is just they just took the layout, they made sure it was doable, and then they just rolled with it. It probably is very similar but easier in the other versions. I am definitely sure that the SMS version is not the main version of this game. It's definitely just, hey, we can put this out on this system too, let's do it real quick kind of port. They're all wildly different from each other though, really. I mean, they don't play anything like each other.
Moonberry's got a great rhythm on this boss.
This is the easiest boss in the game. I don't know what he's he's doing, but all he does is try to parry. He tries to parry projectiles, and it doesn't work. Had he lost another bonus round, but that, I mean, that's the fastest way out of the bonus round, and you don't miss much for doing that. You just have to deal with the "you failed" screen insulting you, that's all.
The question is, if you know you're going to get a bonus game, it might be worth getting the magic. It's hard to say for sure, but
if you can hit that blue ninja, you can get 2 magic. Be better than me. I never hit him. Okay, well, Eric's is on the hardest stage in the game. Absolute nightmare. In Mario terms, this is 8-3. It's worse than that, though. This
level just feels like a knowledge check. It just feels like, do you know where all of the ninjas are going to come down from? Because they're much too fast to really naturally respond to.
They are, and it's painful because in the other versions, this is not anything. They are not a bother in this.
No, the equivalent level in the NES version just has like a bunch of the ninjas jumping around over your head, and they're not that big of a threat, honestly.
Oh. Eric's taken up by the sword guys. They have a bunch of 1-ups built up, so if they have a handle in this level, they can definitely get their weapon through. I think that's going to be the case. There are a bunch of 1-ups, so I think that we will probably see the final boss beaten by a weapon. It is technically possible to do it with your fist, though.
You proved it.
Took me no short amount of time, but it can be done. There's definitely a rhythm to it. I think once I had the strategy down, I could probably reproduce it 10% of the time. It's just really hard. This part that killed Eric's, they're both stuck here at the same time. They have to jump through there and duck and get rid of the green ninja between the gaps of the sword guys. They will not turn around, so it's not as bad as it looks. Moonberry's going for the front kill. That worked. That's not how I did it. Skipping the bonus ninja. I don't think any of the hostages heal you in this stage. For some reason, they stopped giving you that also.
I'm telling you, if you're watching this right now and you're thinking, I'd love to win a race for Speed Bump, just practice the final boss with no power-ups, and come in here next week and take first place.
Practice the stage too. Like if you were good at 5-2 right now, you'd be in the lead because they've both taken a death here. And dying in this game is not small. Dying in this game sends you back to the start of the whole level that you're on.
I mean, look at Eric's specifically. Eric's has not been, not being disparaging, but Eric's has not necessarily been demonstrating like a proficiency with having memorized speedrun strats. Eric's has just been playing really consistently. And Eric's has been in the lead for almost this entire race.
Pulled through, made it through 5-2. Now that's big. I think that's a big marker. That is one giant hurdle cleared. I honestly don't think the final boss is going to be that big of a deal if they get there with weaponry.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen or not, though. I don't believe that there's any weapons in 5-3, I think is the problem. Also, so you end up having to bring it from 5-2. You need to beat this level without taking any deaths. It might be from even 5-1 that you have to carry it through. It's a really long journey. Moonberry made it through as well. Patty Beast is working on stage 3 still. Ninja Town.
Now, Eric's is on his last life. So, does this game have a 0th life, or is this actually the last life? If Eric dies here, does he lose his weapon and have to fight the final boss cold?
He doesn't have a weapon. Looks like they drop it on death as well.
Oh.
Which I forgot about.
Yeah, I didn't remember that either.
This game would be a lot easier if you kept your HP boost and all that through lives, but they are not that generous.
Yeah, I'm not sure I realized that you lose all your power-ups on death as well. I thought it was just on game over.
Gonna have to beat 5, pretty much the entire World 5 in one go to keep your weapon, I think. 5-1's not so bad. 5-3 isn't that bad either, really. It's not. You just gotta be a little careful, that's all. 5-2 is the really dangerous part. If you're good at that stage, you're gonna make it, I think. That's the only one, really, that's gonna kill you if you're trained.
Yeah, Eric's making it to the door a little bit before Moonberry. Patty B is still making great progress on this level.
This boss with no weapons is gonna be rough. Here we go. Let's see how they learned. They definitely have a strat. So this boss has 4 phases, which is that's a nightmare just to even think about. 4 phases. Most bosses have 2 in video games. That's against the rules. It would make a lot more sense if he only had 2. If his last 3 phases, the clone phase isn't so bad, I guess. I wouldn't even mind 3, but the 4th one is the real problem for me. So it's a shield that's electric and it's hard to deal with. The 2nd phase is tough to control. It's a tornado that shoots projectiles, and without a weapon, it's hard to hit him without getting hit. You can lock him up though.
Yeah, from what I've seen, it's possible to get all of the phases of the boss like stun locked in a corner, but you're depending on the boss's movement to make sense of that.
There's definitely a way to force him to do it. You can't really control the projectiles that he shoots though. So taking damage on phase 2, I mean the way I finally beat phase 4 was definitely locking him in the corner. Looks like we're having a brawl with the final boss. Race will come down to this. Really clean phase 2 for Moonberry. Phase 3 I felt was really easy. Yeah, it's over for Moonberry. Alright, so they're on phase 4. And they're trying to... Oh, they've got it. Oh, they had it.
Oh, wow.
Charging in. Oh, no. That was really close. One more punch, I think.
that was actually a great attempt. Oh, is Patty Beast back on the first level somehow?
Yeah, they're not using the cheat. Looks like. We're definitely letting level select in here. I wonder if there is a way to preserve power-ups. Because I wouldn't mind giving them that too. If there was, but that would probably be a Game Genie sort of thing.
And there's Eric's finishing up at 20 minutes.
2050. Nice work. Managed to punch that ninja to death. That's really hard to do, and he did it in 3 or 4 minutes. Instead of the hour it took me. I'm gonna switch audio to Moonberry. It's a little quieter, but it's there. $1986. Doesn't feel like a game that is that old. It looks alright. This version has no ending screen. They forgot that. Looks like Eric's wants to practice some stages here. Let me see what kind of cheats we do have for this game here.
Yeah, I just sent one to Patty B's to try to get them back on track.
There is an action replay code to give you 18 units of health. Let me hack this SMS real quick and we'll hand that one out.
There we go. Patty B's found it.
They're gonna have to learn how to manage ninjas to beat the stage they're on. Phase 1 of the Masked Ninja is a big shield jump thing where you barely have enough of a hitbox to get through. It's not too hard, but if you miss any of them, you're going to take at least 1 damage. Probably more.
The intended way is for sure to wait for the shield to go down for the brief moment it goes down, but you can definitely melee right through it, it seems.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely safer to do it that way, yeah. Your character switches from melee to range based on distance. He makes that choice, not the player.
Which is a terrible system. I hate that so much.
At least it's not Double Dragon 2, where they rotate kick and punch based on your character's orientation.
That was such a clean attempt of the second phase, and then the third phase got Moonberry.
Yeah, I feel like this boss is definitely easier in the other versions I'd played. I didn't expect to have such a hard time with him until I got here and realized what I was dealing with. He's not easy in the other versions, but what I had played, I took him out pretty quickly in TurboGrafx. They definitely seem to have a better strategy than I had for the Whirlwind. I was having a really hard time with that part. I never got very many attempts on Phase 4. Phase 3 doesn't exist. Phase 4 does, though. Fearsome. Eric's is here with a weapon, showing us what it's like when you are geared. Yeah, that'll be it. When you have the other thing, when you come here with a weapon, you probably also have more than 6 HP, which is nice. I guess it goes up to 18 if you collect every single booster, but you just don't have very many. You have 4 HP basically on this boss because 0 counts.
Gosh, this fight is just so brutal.
We should hit some more moves. I wonder what the summon this spell does to this boss. Actually, I'm not sure about that. It probably works. It works on the other bosses, in my experience. That's interesting. Actually, I didn't think about that, but maybe the third boss with the mini worms you have to blow up. Maybe he's weak to the spellcast.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly possible.
Oh, that's right. You have to kill enemies to turn on magic, which is strange. Maybe the clones count.
Yeah, the restriction on having to kill enemies certainly would make it more difficult to use it in a boss fight.
What a weird change. Requiring a bonus round at all is something that not every version does.
I think when you're meleeing, you have a brief invulnerability period that's kind of interesting to me. Just because there's been lots of times where they've, like on the second phase of this fight, they'll kick the boss and the projectiles will go right through them harmlessly.
I think you do if you're actually punching them. It reminds me of Rocket Knight Adventure. Where attacking gives you iframes and nothing else. But only if you are doing damage to that enemy. That enemy's hitbox is disabled if they're being hit.
Alright, so Patty B is going on to the, what's this boss called? Manjura?
I think
something
so.
like that. This fight. This one's a tough one, more or less blind or casually, so let's see if Patty B has practiced a little bit. Got a decent rhythm going.
You can jump and hit 2 of these at once, but I did not end up doing that on the one that I did successfully. It felt like it was the answer, but in practice, there's always 2 or 3 left when I tried this. You have to be just really on point with your timing, I think is the answer. You don't want to see these plink off. You want to make sure that every throw causes a spin.
Yeah, that was the thing about the NES version, is that you can shoot as fast as you want, but every enemy and boss has a certain amount of iframes, which if you can just throw an unlimited number of projectiles as fast as you want, who cares about their iframes? As soon as they're done with their iframes, you can attack them again. But with the much slower attack of this game, you really have to know how long those iframes are.
This looks like the TurboGrafx version. Eric's just loaded up. In case you were wondering what it looks like. Deja vu. So you have 1 HP in this version, which is just the worst choice. The absolute worst thing to do in this game.
Yeah, 1 HP, but like just jumping on an enemy's head doesn't. Yeah, Eric's is running into one of the problems with the TurboGrafx 16 version is that you actually can't leave the level until you've saved all of the hostages. A slight difference from the at least Sega Master System and NES versions. So in the bottom left of Eric's screen, you can see the icon saying they still need to save 2 of the hostages.
Yep. Also, even though the box art that we have on screen right now says you have a bunch of weapons You don't in TurboGrafx. First, you don't get any. There's no items at all. There's nothing. You just get punch kick and one shuriken, and that's it. They disabled that as well. So that's probably the worst port. It also deletes the entire world too. Definitely, I mean, it looks completely different from this. You might like the art style better, but that's the only change that it probably is good if you even like that style of art.
I'm gonna suggest that if you do want to try Shinobi, like the original Shinobi game at some point, play the NES version. It's like the friendliest port of it. All the other ones are actually legit tough, and I would say that the NES version is, I would go as far as to call it easy.
Super conversion kit.
Yeah, this is a hard boss that Patty B's is going up against. It really just sort of asks you to figure out a pattern that works. It's very tough.
Yeah, you can jump on the enemies in the PC Engine version, which is good since you have 1 health, and I think it makes the game playably possible. Like there's a couple areas where these sword guys, they're just blocking everything, and you need to jump on them. This one has a problem with, it definitely feels like the arcade version in the form of it wants to eat your quarters, which of course that's not the case on a home system, but they did it anyway. A bunch of ninjas show up at your feet and kill you. You just need to know about them all. There's not really any way to... They come out in like 0.3 seconds and you're dead. It's a constant problem. Keno is dead. So we're going to skip the helicopter stage and they'll be on mission 2. If Patty beat the game...
This could be the one that Patty B's does. This could be it.
Wait.
So close.
I do wonder if the other power-ups help at all or not. I did this with the shurikens too, because that's what the stage select would give me. It seems like they're getting the hang of it. It definitely feels like a rhythm game of sorts. If you play it that way, I think it makes a lot more sense. You can't hit him again until he's completely spun around, so you need to time it really well. They're close, but they're not there yet. Other powers, faster fire rate? What does the power-up power do that the hostages give you sometimes? I never figured that one out.
I'm not sure. I thought that they said that in the PC Engine version it just makes your attack stronger, but I don't really know if that's it.
I didn't recognize that as a thing in the SMS version. I didn't notice that anywhere. Oh, he's a weapon upgrade. There's a lot more guns in the TurboGrafx version as well. A lot more everything. Ah, Patty was 1 star away that time.
That was close.
I think that's a positioning issue on top of the timing.
Yeah, there's a lot to this boss fight. It's both, you want to get close enough so that you can hit with your projectiles more consistently, and you also want to stay far enough back so that you can not have to move so frequently, right? Every time you're facing to the left, it's more or less a waste of time.
Yeah, ideally, you are as far away as it takes to throw it and make them spin, and not any further or closer.
The strategies that I've seen from most of the players that seemed most consistent was to sort of alternate between the one that's at jumping height and the one that's at floor height at all times. That seemed to have worked pretty well in the past.
Eric's is really good at this version of the game. I think they were running it when we were thinking about running this one.
Yeah, I think when we announced it initially, Eric's had done some work on it.
I had such a hard time with, like, I had as hard of a time with that stage you just cleared as I did with the final boss in SOS version. It was not an easy stage. Here's this version of the boss, and apparently spells work on it too. Interesting strat there. Just skipping that phase, that DPS check.
Yeah, it seems like a risky strat, but it looks like it works pretty consistently. You know, you can get to the other side of them, and that's all that you really need to do.
I don't know how much damage they take, but I feel like it was equally close in this version.
It's a one hit. Oh, those. Yeah, possibly.
Patty just cannot work out that last shuriken every time. They're so close.
It's so demanding. I'm gonna let them know that we're at about the 10-minute mark.
Yep, we're at 37 minutes. Moonberry's trying to get the run on this final boss. I do wonder if it would be faster to just go back to World 5 and try and do it in 1 CC. I don't know.
Is there a weapon somewhere in World 5?
It sounds like you need multiple power-up picks to get an upgrade on your main hand weapon. How many? It sounds like Galamax figured out that data. That's definitely the data that I think that's most relevant is health power-ups and changing your weapon to something with range from the punch. Ideally the longest one, but not necessarily mandatory. I think if they had enough health, it still wouldn't matter. If they can't land a hit on this boss, it'll drain fast. There's a power up at the end of 5-2. What weapon would it give you?
This feels like this is probably the hardest game we've done for Speed Bump so far.
Yeah, and I still feel like it's easier than the version we picked of this game originally.
Yeah, possibly.
World 1 and 2, Belial, how strong this game gets. No, you can't run through it, it's gonna knock you around. IDBs has the only method here, and they just need to optimize it. And when I say optimize, I mean optimize. Optimize. You can't miss a single shot.
Yeah, Pattybees is getting it right most of the time. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of wiggle room on it. You really just basically you need to land the hit the moment that it's vulnerable again. So every single time you see like a tower of them fall, a Ninja Star probably needs to be coming out earlier so that it hits the statue the moment the statue hits the ground, because there's just not a lot of wiggle room. That's the reason why I think the other runners have preferred a strat that alternates between them, is because the iframes on them is long enough that kind of alternating between, you know, the one up, the one down, the one up, the one down, back and forth is pretty consistent.
I'm thinking about loading this up and trying to do that boss right now. Let me see. Because I feel like I worked it out, but I might be wrong. The other two runners obviously have, though. They didn't have too hard of a time. They made it through. This will be my screen.
Okay, maybe Pattybees has it on this one. Just has to be pretty consistent, whipping a few of these hits. So close every time.
Okay, I'm going there. That is mission 3, 4. Looking forward to fighting this guy again. Love this boss. I'm not even close on my first try here. Not even close. Oh, it was 2 away. If they were just one less of them than there are, it would be okay. Just one.
If they just moved a little more slowly.
I feel like letting them hit me helps. I died to natural damage. If I backed up, I might have had it that time. I think I have a strat. Yeah, I've got a strat. Let me restart this. You can jump and throw and save just a little bit of time, and I think that's gonna make this not so mean.
Yeah, that's not the end of the boss, but the rest of the boss is fairly straightforward, so not a big deal.
Yeah, the rest of the boss fight is pretty simple. I'm bad at passwords.
The wall of the statues is the boss, effectively.
Okay, let's test my theory out here. So jumping and throwing, you can do 2 damage coming into position here. Moving back while the iframes are playing is also essential. Oh yeah, I got this locked down. That's definitely the way to do it, I think. It's tight, but if you do those 2 things, I think you can get that 1 statue's worth of time back. Yeah, see, I didn't use the falling time there, so I think that is gonna kill me. No, I'm good. You can just buy. I think I could kill 1 more statue. I think I'm there. Did Moonberry throw it in?
Yeah, Moonberry said that they gave with a minute to go.
Okay.
It is a brutal ask, and they gave it their best.
Well, I'm gonna share my Mandara strats later. Because I think I've learned this boss pretty well. I don't know how much players need that though. They seem to be alright at it. Got me this time.
Alright, I called it for them. It's the 45-minute mark.
Okay. Well, that's our Shinobi race. That's our game. We have a real race of it next week. We will let the passwords for stage select go in there, but I am feeling like learning the final boss is going to be the big part. And the World 3 boss, I mean, there's definitely a way to do it reliably. Like I won it 4 times in a row there, I think, with what I was doing. I think I worked it out, but it's not easy.
If there's a reasonable place to get a good weapon, then it really just comes down to learning 5-2, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And if you somehow lose your weapon, and you want that boss to be consistent, then you just reset, go back to the beginning of World 5, and go again.
Probably there's a list of the hostages by now of the power-ups. You can definitely get more HP too, which is help. That would help a lot. You only get 4. You have 8, technically 7, but the boss hits you for 2 damage, so 4. You have 4.
Yeah.
So you can get it up to, I guess, 18 is maybe the cap on that, and that's 10 hits instead of 4 would be wildly different.
Patty B is wanting to know that he finally beat the Buddha Blitzkrieg, is what he described it as.
It's tough. I think so. The 2 things for that boss that I just figured myself out as you throw while jumping towards it, and that'll put you in a perfect position to kill the first row. And then while the tower is falling, that's the time to back up, not any other time. Not when you can no longer, like, a lot of players seem like they want to wait until it's right next to them, and you know, like the last second before they move, but they really should be backing up while there's iframes, because they can cut half of that time. They can save half of that time by backing up then, which is when the tower's coming down. Anytime right after they kill somebody, they should probably back up. Those 2 things, I think, are what were meant to be done. They buy you enough time.
If we had players grinding out the world record, optimizing that boss would probably be a big spot for it. Because I mean, there's a lot of room to save, like little tiny small amounts of time by optimizing that boss. But
well, that's Shinobi SMS. We'll see you next week with a $50 prize pool race. If you're interested, we got information for you in the Discord like usual, and I would practice those, and we will let the stage select cheat in there, which is down, down, left, right, up, up, B. It's pretty easy, and let you pick the boss stage too, which not so great for 5-4, but hey, it's good against the other bosses. There's no boss like him in the game. It's Mandara is just that first wall, and then that's it, and then the rest of the bosses are big enemies. The helicopter, I guess, can be killed with 5 knives, so that's
if you have 5 knives, just go for it.
I didn't know it was so easy to kill a helicopter. Well, we'll see you later off the boost. Thanks for joining me.
Later.
Have a good one, everybody.